Hello, it is Sunday morning here in Wales and it's raining. Can't complain though, I've been here for a fortnight and this is the first time that the rain has come. But like I said, it's Sunday morning, and Sunday morning, for me anyway, is synonymous with going to allotments. So that's where I'm going today. Not to my own, but I've been invited by some local allotmenteers to go and look at their plot and to see what is available and put myself down on the list. Wow, look at that for a view. I don't think you'd get much green fly on this site. The wind would just blow them away. Just imagine that in the summer, looking across to the mountains there. Beautiful. In Wales, you're allowed to put fences around your plot so to actually make it into a sort of garden, and I quite like that idea. And homemade greenhouse there, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? But I notice some of them are quite big because there are no restrictions on the size of your shed. You could have 2 or 3, or do like this guy has done here and completely fill the bottom of your plot. Look at this shed here. Just imagine being sat in a shed like this, cup of tea, looking out at that view. Glorious. So I've come to a different site, and this is the site where I had my first allotment. As you can see, again, it's on a bit of a slope. I think my allotment, I was trying to work this out the other day, I think my allotment was the one, either the one with the 2 greenhouses in, or the one next door to it with the picnic seat. Can't actually remember. Instinct is telling me it's the one with the picnic seat, but again, same thing here. Doesn't seem to be a restriction on the size of a greenhouse or the tunnels, but it's nice to see that the plots are full, because when I was here I think it was only half full, and all this down here was brambles. So it's nice to see that it is busy. And in fact, I think this one where we are thinking was my plot is now actually the community plot. And those houses just beyond there, they are brand new. When I was here, there was a school there. But it's not the weather to be out in the garden. I'll be headed home for a nice warm cup of tea. But there are 2 more sites close, so I think we'll go and have a look at them as well. So those 2 sites that I've shown you so far, they are council owned, but they're self-managed. So they're run by a committee or just an individual person. And they're very well managed sites. But apparently there are 2 others, but they're run by the council. From what I could see the other day, they didn't look that good. So I think there'd be more chance of getting on a self-managed site than there would be onto the council one. Right, I'm just coming down the lane here. Thought I'd show you the lane. Look at this. Beautiful Welsh stone. Wonderful. It makes for quite a bit of fun to be walking down here when it's frosty. So again, even if I got a plot on that site we've just seen, the second site, you still get some interesting views, but not as good as that first site in Treherbert. And as you know, even though it's about growing veg, it's also about just sitting down and relaxing. I've just remembered, there's actually a third site, which is just across the way here. Now this camera hasn't got a zoom, so I won't be able to zoom in, but there is a site just at the base of Pen Peak. You might be able to see it in the middle of the screen. That is an allotment site there, but I think that is a private one. That's privately owned, because I couldn't find out who is in charge there. But to be honest, I wouldn't like an allotment on this side of the mountain, because on this side during the day it gets shaded from about 1 o'clock on, and especially in the winter it hardly gets any sun at all. So it's a lot better to be on the other side of the mountain. So when I lived here, this bridge was called the New Bridge, but I can see that they've changed it, so I wonder if it's now called the New Bridge. I'll show you a field in a sec. On the right hand side here, look at this. When I was here, all this was field, because this was a area of a coal mine, but it's got taken over by the school there, and a skating ramp, but I don't know what this hillock of soil is all about. Maybe it's just a bit of spoil. And on the other side is where the allotment is, next door to the fish farm. So again, I remember this when it was just a scraggy old field, and then a fish farm came here in the 90s. I don't know where you can buy the fish from, but that's been there for years. Now, according to what I read on the internet, there is an allotment site here, exactly where my camera is pointing, but it doesn't look as if there's anything there, is it? Unless it's really, really hidden, and who knows, it could just have 2 or 3 plots. So I don't think this is on the cards. But just look at that view there. Blindcombe. Even on a day where the sun is not out, it still looks beautiful, doesn't it? I was thinking the other day, it's good that the windmills are on top of the mountain, because then you can tell how windy it is and about how many layers of clothes you need to wear if you were ever going to walk to the top of the mountain. So I can just about see the allotment site, but I think it is just 2 plots, just 2 or 3 plots, nothing to write home about. So all these paths used to be part of the old railway line, the Swansea Bay Railway, and when Beechin took the trains away, the track was just left there for a long time. It wasn't until the late 80s, early 90s that they decided to take all the bridges down and use it as walkways. And I have some VHS films somewhere of them doing all this work. But down here is the Rhondda River, and back in the 90s there was great excitement because herons started to appear on the river. Now, when I was here, you could actually walk down, so they've obviously planted trees, but I noticed there were some ducks here, which I don't ever remember seeing ducks on the water before. But yes, the heron was so reliable that every day at 10 to 4 it used to fly over my house. Right, just watch it unslip now, because it has been raining quite a bit. But that is the Rhondda River. This is where it starts up the top end of the valley here. And I'll do some videos, especially during the spring and summer, of the wildlife down here, and we'll see if we can try and find the heron. So now we're walking down the railway track of Blaenrhondda station, This has been a very successful part of the regeneration, and I think the last allotment site I'm going to see is the one that I think I saw it back in December. So that's the mountain I went up the other week where I got lost. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link to it below. And I can see where I went lost now, because you can see the green path just going up and to the left. So I think it must have been an original path that the sheep used back in the day, like 100 years ago. But they tell me there is a easier one now further down. So once I get my pair of boots, I'll be out trying to find it again. So the last allotment site to go and look at is the first one that I saw back in December, which is down here amongst all the trees. So again, maybe it's a disused site, or if we go and walk down in the lane we might get a better view, because they do seem to be decent sizes here. There you go, you can just about see it through there. Let's go down and have a closer look. So here's a few. There's about 2 there, so I'm on the list for this one as well. But this is run by the council. In fact, look how good that one is there. It looks a nice size. But again, it's in the shadow of the mountain, so I don't know how much light they would get. But as we've discovered from the London plot, too much sunlight, especially in the height of summer, can be a pain. And this is the end of the allotment site. Look at this plot. This is absolutely stunning, this one is. Look at it, beautiful site. And even though it is in the shadow of the mountain there, Graigardelu mountain, as we've learned from the London plot, maybe being in a bit of shade is quite good, because the London plot was in full sunshine, and in the height of summer when we had the heat wave, it was a job to go there and keep it watered. So maybe a plot in slight shade will be a good move. But I can't imagine this will come up. I think this person is well established. Well, I can feel it starting to rain now, so I'm going to head home. I think the dog agrees with me. I'm going to head home, have a nice cup of tea. But it's been an enjoyable Sunday stroll around the village, looking at the allotment sites. So hopefully it won't be too long before I can get a plot. But if it is, I do have my little bit of back garden that I can do in the meantime. So I will catch up with you in a few days, and if the weather improves, then I promise you now, I will take you and show you the back garden. I just want it to be nice and sunny for me to show it off to you. Right, I'm gonna have a cup of tea and I'll catch up with you next time. So from me until then, bye for now.